Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Today, balance changes, finally, hallelujah. So instead of sharing all of my opinions on all of these cards, because there's a ton to get to, what I want to do is talk about my opinion in an upcoming podcast for you guys later on this week or this weekend or maybe Monday the latest. And I just want to kind of list off all the changes and give my quick kind of thumbs up or thumbs down on all the balance changes for you guys in today's video. So let's go ahead and get things started with a Tesla Nerf. Thumbs up. Tesla Nerf. I hate the Tesla, man. I think it's way too strong. 35 to 30 seconds sounds good to me. Lifespan change. Bomb Tower got the same buff, but kind of in the inverse, right? 5 seconds longer from 25 to 30 seconds. That way, all buildings are now standard at 30-second lifetime. All shooting buildings, they go on to say. Guards buff 12%. Thumbs up. Is it going to be enough? That's a lot of DPS. Same DPS as Dark Goblin, according to Clash Royale now. I didn't know that. It's pretty crazy. They didn't want to change the shield of the guards. They didn't want to change the HP because they wanted to keep shield consistent like Dark Prince and the HP consistent like Larry's, so they added more damage. 12% is a huge damage buff, so will that be enough? I think it will be, so I give it a thumbs up. Night Witch Rework. I think it's kind of a nerf, but let's hear from you guys. Bats no longer spawn when destroyed. Whoa. First bat spawn has been changed from 4 to 1 second. The spawn rate has been changed from 7 to 5 seconds. Interesting. I do think it's a nerf, but that first bat spawn immediately almost, and the spawn rate going down by 2 seconds. I don't know. It's an interesting rework. I'm going to go ahead and be on the fence on this one and say I'm not sure. What do you guys think of the Night Witch? They say Night Witch was a centerpiece of some devastating combos such as Golem Clone. At the same time, she's barely used outside those archetypes. So this rework is our take on removing the frustrating part of dealing with her and enabling use in different decks. I'm not sure if she'll appear in different decks, honestly, but it's an interesting rework, that's for sure. HP minus 4%. Mother Witch could be powerful and unreachable on the other side of the battlefield, mandating players to use Fireball as soon as possible. With the HP reduction, you can get rid of her with arrows plus log. I think this was a perfect nerf to Mother Witch. Nothing too crazy, nothing too hard. 4% HP when she already died to Fireball is cool with me. And using, arrows plus log, 5 elixir for 4 elixir, -1 elixir trade, that sounds cool. Thumbs up. Poison. Enemy movement speed slowed by 15%. Whoa! It's the old school poison is back, ladies and gentlemen. That's insane. Lately, Fireball has been the most used damage spell in the game, granting instant damage and pushback for whoever uses it. Poison needed a way to stand out as a 4 elixir spell. Adding the slight buff should take it viable in many decks. Poison with movement speed, talking about Shanghai tournament back in 2016, maybe 2016, I think. Poison was in every deck. I think this is going to be a huge buff to Poison. I think Poison's going to be used. Electro Giant, HP minus 4%. They say, at times, the big fella was unstoppable. We've now reduced his HP to give him more space for the defender to counter him, but not nerfing him to the ground. I don't think a 4% HP is going to be enough, so I give it the thumbs down. I think Electro Giant, it wasn't the HP that was the issue. Personally, it was the amount of damage he does on towers. That was my concern. Attack range, minus 0.5 tiles, minus half a tile on the Bomber attack range. Poor Bomber. He enjoyed his time in the sun, but now it's probably going to be over. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. For 2 elixir, the card gave too much value, so I do agree with the nerf overall. I'm kind of on the fence over if this was the right decision. First attack, plus 0.2 seconds. The previous Hunter nerf, attack slower by 0.4, was just a bit too much, so we tweaked it a bit. Essentially, they went in there with the Hunter, and they changed it so the nerf they used on him is now half as strong, right? So I think that was a good move. Thumbs up from me. Fire Spirit radius reduction. Fire Spirit, we were just getting to love the Fire Spirit. 2,500 radius to 2,300 radius. I don't know what that means. I'm no OJ. I don't know what that means, but 2,300, boys and girls. Anyway, since the last balance change, the Goblin Barrel and Fire Spirit interaction has become too binary for Goblin Barrel users, so reduce the splash of the Fire Spirit so it can't kill all 3 goblins. Well, I could have just read that. That's all I need to know, right? Hopefully the Fire Spirit is still as effective, generally speaking, in other areas, though. It is a damage radius nerf after all, so it doesn't just affect the Goblin Barrel, but I do think that was a wise move because Fire Spirit use rates are actually going way up recently. So I guess I'll give it a thumbs up there. Tombstone, skeleton spawn, +1 once destroyed. So now it has the, Tombstone was one of the least used buildings, need a significant buff. Bringing back the forest skeleton spawn when it's destroyed should help. Should it? I don't know, maybe I'm being too myopic here, too reactionary, but I think one measly skeleton extra on death, I don't know if that will be enough, but then again, you know, when using it on defense against like a Hog Rider, that one extra Larry putting out DPS, maybe that could be a factor, maybe that could be a difference maker. Royal Giant, first attack, 0.2 seconds slower. It's difficult to prevent Royal Giant from hitting your tower at least once, even with timely deployed counters. This change will give the defender more time to react. Do you guys like that? I don't know. Royal Giant was very good, don't get me wrong, but I'm not sure that Royal Giant users will be happy. Then again, I'm not sure that any users of any of these cards that are getting nerfed will be happy. I'm kind of on the fence on that one. Goblins spawn distance. Okay. Goblins will now spawn with some distance between each other. This is a tough card to balance, having dependencies on other Goblin cards, Goblin Gang, Goblin Barrel, Goblin Drill. So instead of touching Goblin stats, we decided to add some spawn distance between them, like Skeletons and Barbarians, not like Royal Recruits, you know what I'm saying? Allowing them to surround opponents when deployed. I don't think that's going to be enough to make Goblins viable, so I give it a right idea. I think the card needs a buff, but I don't think... I see how difficult it is, too. It's a challenging card to balance. That's why I love that they made cards like Rascals, not a Knight into Archers, but rather a Boy and Girl Rascals. That way they can touch them, you know, one at a time, rather than bringing back old troops like that, like Goblin Gang, for example, and so on and so forth. So we'll see if that makes a change. Giant Snowball pushback, 1,500 to 1,800. Snowball is not a card that many players place in their decks. Now with this change, you can completely counter a solo Goblin Barrel. Oh! Just when the Goblin Barrel players were celebrating. Now we can counter with a Snowball. I don't know, man. I low-key think that Snowball was already one of the strongest spells out there for 2 Elixir, and now it's going to be even better. So I think that Snowball is going to be meta. Goblin Drill. Goblin spawn, -1 Goblin spawn when destroyed. Despite the previous balancing, Goblin Drill has remained too strong and put too much pressure on defenders. With one less Goblin crammed into the contraction, it's easier to tackle the Drill, but it can still be deadly if unanswered. I think this is an appropriate nerf to Goblin Drill. I think people might be wanting more out of the Goblin Drill, but I think -1 Goblin is a very significant nerf. Think about it this way. Goblin Drill, as annoying and oppressive as it was, you know, people adjusted. People always adjust to the meta, I feel like, you know, and more Valkyrie, more Dark Prince, more Bomber, more responses were added into decks. And now, at the time of this recording, believe it or not, guys, the Goblin Drill actually has very mediocre use and win rates. Pretty crazy to say, but it's true. Royal Hogs, anyway, damage plus 6%. Whoa. There's no space for Royal Hogs in a heavy area damage meta, they say. With the Goblin Drill nerf and the slight damage increase, we hope it brings back the piggies to life. I think it will. Again, over time here, over 5-6 years of Clash Royale, I've learned one thing. These small numbers, like 6% extra damage times 5 Hogs, is actually a very significant overall buff. I think that Royal Hogs will be meta again. Where was I right? Where was I wrong? What changes do you like? What cards did they miss on these balance changes? I want to hear everything from you guys. In the meantime, I will get to work on my podcast, talking more in depth about all these changes and getting a variety of different content creators. By the way, if you want to see a pro or a content creator on that podcast, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to have different guests or the same guests, fan favorites. It's all about you guys. So whatever the viewers want, I will make it happen. Big shout out to GFUEL, to Bren Chong, and of course to Clash Royale, my channel sponsors here on CWA, on Clash with Ash. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.